I'd like to tell you a story of a friend of mine who I think experienced what it means to share the reality of her life at a deeper level and to feel that healing and transformation. And it not only affected her, but it also affected her family. My friend had experienced some pretty serious childhood sexual abuse and was working in therapy on this. She was crying a lot, often when her children were around, and she would tell them, you know, this is not about you. This is something that I'm dealing with. And one day her 10-year-old son came home from school and he had drawn this rather incredible art project. It had a little boat at the top with a man fishing. Underneath, where the hook went, the hook wasn't catching anything. There were all these lurking, large fish with open mouths, and some of them looked pretty sinister and frightening. And even though that little top where the boat was peaceful with the sun shining and everything looked nice and birds were flying in the air, underneath that water there was an incredible amount of things happening. Well, my friend looked at this picture and she thought, you know, maybe I need to tell Scott just a little more of what's happening and what has impacted his mother and that this matters. So she did. She sat down with him and she gave him a child's version of what she was dealing with in therapy, and she told him that she was going to be all right and that she was working with healing. And the little boy looked at her and said, well, Mom, I thought it was something like that. Every night this little boy had been having nightmares. But within 2 or 3 weeks of her telling him about this story, the nightmares disappeared. He stopped having the nightmares and was sleeping, likely finding out that what was lurking under the water, what was it in the family, the secret. When he knew that it was being worked at, that it was going to be all right, then he could sleep again.